Giannis comes out and says he's open to trades. He says he wants to be traded. I think this is a good thing. I think he needs to be traded, and I think he needs to be traded soon. Fellas, I think we've been talking about this. Where should Giannis go? What is the best option for Giannis? Who has the best package for Giannis? And to utilize Giannis while he's still young. There are talks of it could be the Knicks. I'm seeing the Lakers. I'm seeing the Spurs, of course, the Trailblazers, Miami Heat, and the Warriors. I don't like the Warriors because at this point, Steph Curry is on his downside. You have an aging Draymond. You have a aging, what's the name? Jimmy Butler, and he's just towards ACL. So I definitely don't like the Warriors. Fellas, if Giannis wants to win a championship in the next 2 years, we'll start with you, A Boogie. If Giannis wants a championship in the next 2 years, and we'll give it 3, what's the best option for him? With the way the teams are constructed now, of course, you probably have to give up a piece or 2, but with that piece or 2, they still are intact. What's the best option for him within the next 2 years to get a chip? What team you think is the best?
The best option for Giannis right now is gonna be in the Garden with the Knicks.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt, the Mecca.
Here we go.
Mecca.
We already know he wants to go there. He said that's his main destination. Yo, B, chill.
Not going to the Wizards. It's okay,
He's definitely not going there. He'd rather retire than go to DC. So I know that for sure. He already said he wants to play for the Knicks. Obviously, we'll have to give up. I think we might have to give up Cat and maybe. I think we might have to give up Cat and maybe somebody on our bench. Maybe Miles McBride, Cat, and a couple of picks.
Hey, bye.
Yeah, I definitely think he has the best chance on our team. We've been on a bit of a dry spell, so I think it's time for us to shake things up a little bit. And with Giannis, that tips the Eastern Conference, the whole Eastern Conference, it tips in our favor, and we're automatic championship contention. So I definitely think he has the best chance in New York.
No doubt. I'm feeling that. Chop it up. Talk good, and don't talk disrespectfully. This is being recorded.
Yeah, no. So I got 2. So one would be to throw him to Minnesota with Anthony Edwards. I think if him and Anthony Edwards were somehow able to get together, that they would wreck the league. I think the way that Giannis plays downhill, he would really love to play with a young coming guy.
So what you're telling me is if you go to Minnesota, I said you feel if he goes to Minnesota within the next 2 years they win a chip.
Yes. If they're able to, and this is the only guy that they have to keep besides Anthony Edwards, J-Mac. If they keep J-Mac, they're able to keep J-Mac. I would give up Rudy Gobert in a heartbeat. Julius Randle can go for anything. Nas Reed, I would be hesitant to let Nas Reed go, but if it happens, it happens. If we're able to keep J-Mac, Anthony Edwards, and Giannis, they win a ring in the next 3 years.
The only reason I disagree is because I feel like you wouldn't have enough bench to win. Minnesota's gonna have to shop a lot to get rid of him.
Keep Dante. You got a young Terrence Shannon who's hungry. Y'all
yeah, but you gotta understand this too. Anybody that with Minnesota, your best pieces are Dante, Nas Reed, and Julius. 2 of those 3 are gonna go.
They're gonna go, yeah.
Or they even may ask for J-Mac. And this is why I say, like, I don't feel like Minnesota is primed to win in the next 2-3 years. Now, pairing it with, that's a great pair. But in the next 2 years, I can't see Minnesota winning the chip with that. But again, I like it though. What's next? Who your other team?
The second one would be a young Toronto team. I think if he was able to pair with Brandon Ingram, they would probably have to give up RJ Barrett. If they can keep Scotty Barnes too. Scotty Barnes, Giannis, BI. I love that, especially right now. where the East is kind of down right now. Detroit is leading it right now with Boston behind them, but I think that would put them in contention for the next 2 years, even with Jason Tatum coming back, with Tyrese Halliburton coming back. I think that Giannis puts them in prime position.
I like that. I like Toronto better than Minnesota.
Okay.
They have a lot of bench assets to give up where they don't have to give up the core. And you can keep Scotty Barnes, B.I., you give up R.J. Barrett, you still got Quickly. I like that. I like that much more. Zeke, what you got?
Man, I got to go with the Spurs. You already know I got to roll with the Spurs, but it's a perfect...
Hold on, let me ask you a question. The only reason I would say this, I'm going to let you finish. But now remember, Milwaukee's going to ask for a lot of those young assets, yo. Which takes away from the Spurs. And I can see why you pair him with Wemby. But what are you giving up? Because if I'm Milwaukee, I want Cassell, I want Castle, I want Harper. Like, you're giving up. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just want you. Go ahead though.
If you're the Spurs, Castle has to stay. Castle has to stay. The thing is with Giannis, I would say you give up Vassell and Keldon Johnson. You keep Harper because he's great. He's a good two-way.
Milwaukee's hanging up the phone. They're hanging up the phone.
But look, you give them options. It's going to be a lot better trade value than what a lot of teams are going to give Milwaukee.
Yeah, but think about this. The two players that we're getting are Vassell and Keldon Johnson for Giannis.
It wouldn't just be.
Hello, San Antonio. Yeah, this is the trade. Bye.
It would not just be just those two. You do throw in some picks, but it's a win-win for everybody. Even if, let's just say, you want to be aggressive, you're in San Antonio and you give up Harper and then one of those two, Vassell or Keldon Johnson, you give that to them to win now. The one thing that teams, there is no next year. There's no 2 years from now. If you have the chance to pair Giannis right now with Wemby, you still keep Castle and you still have another young player. Milwaukee wins because now you have two young guys that can go. You may also get a pick. If you're the Spurs, you win because you have an NBA Finals MVP on your team with Wemby, who is possibly a future star of the league, a future top 5 guy in the league. I think that's a win-win.
So the reason why I said the next 2 to 3 years, fellas, is this. Giannis is 30, 31. A lot of games on the body and the way he plays. When we had this talk a couple of weeks ago, B, talking about how hard Giannis goes. Mm-hmm. The reason I said 2 to 3 years, Zeke, is because you want to get the best out of Giannis within the next 2 years. You bring him to a Spurs team, you don't have longer than 2 years. You can't wait 3-4 years to say, oh, we're building. Remember, this is anybody that's trading for Giannis is trying to win within the next 2-3 years. That's the cap. Now, to your point, I agree with you. A lot of young assets. But if I'm Milwaukee, in order to keep myself in contention or at least trying to win, I gotta get Cassell. I gotta get Harper. One of those.
But if you're trading Giannis, you're not winning right now, anyways.
We're talking 2 years, but Zeke, I know that. But you said, listen to what I'm saying. But anybody that trades for him is a 2-year project.
Milwaukee knows, there's no way that you're Milwaukee, if you're trying to give up Giannis, there's no way you think you're 2 years away from getting
into contention. I'm talking about with the team that Giannis goes to. Forget Milwaukee. Once Milwaukee gives up,
you don't think the Spurs win now with Giannis?
It depends on what they give up, though, Zeke. Remember, you said a Keldon Johnson and a Vassell. Milwaukee's not taking that trade.
Okay, if you give up Harper and then one of those two, and you get even if you give up Harper,
that's still not enough.
Even with picks, you don't think that's enough?
They want to remember, Harper's not starting right now.
But who's going to give him the better trade package?
I understand, Zeke. I'm not disagreeing with you. Milwaukee's looking at it like this. I need somebody out that starting lineup. Okay, we're not giving up Fox, and Fox and Wemby are off the table, right or wrong?
Agreed.
So now we're talking Castle, Vassell, Cornet. They don't want Cornet. You either give me Harper and Vassell, Harper, and Castle. And draft picks and probably Keldon Johnson. Now we're talking.
But that's the best. They're not going to get that from anybody else. You're not going to get 2 young pieces and picks at that caliber from anybody. They might as well hang up on everybody.
I will say this, though. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Knicks fan. But here's what I feel like why he wants to go to the Knicks. It's a major market. Marketing, and it's outside of the contract for him. It's being in a big city. I think the Knicks can package Kolek, McBride, and Anthony Towns. And we get Giannis, and I think
OG and Mikal Bridges is out of there.
I think they're off the table.
One of them are out of there. You don't keep both of them and come out with Giannis. No way.
Let me tell you why they don't take them. Milwaukee's not going to take on those contracts. Remember, Milwaukee is the only person they're paying right now is Dame Lillard from a trade and Giannis. They're not paying Cat, OG. They're not paying those contracts. They're trying to they get Giannis off the books. You bring in Cat as that one big contract, which you used to paying. Remember, Lillard's still on the books. You can't afford to take on Bridges or OG's contract and Cat's contract. That's almost $300-400 million. They can't afford that. But we got to this break, man. It's yours.